我们杯子多。Remember which one is yours? And don't mix up with us. Yeah, they look the same. They're the same. Mine also has ice. 你看喝完水要上厕所。Should I tell you like where's the restroom? Anybody, do you have a restroom?
Well, that was the first place we went when we got here.
Oh, okay, good. Being taken care of.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Ariel Lunchtime concert. And we're very glad to have Helen Chiu again to bring her wonderful student to perform for us. And so hopefully you'll enjoy today's program. So I'll hand the time to Helen and to introduce her students and the music. Okay, Helen.
Okay, good afternoon. I'd like to thank everyone for coming, and then especially I'd like to extend this gratitude to Dr. Lin for inviting my students and giving the performance opportunities for today's concert. So without further ado, I'll introduce our first performer. His name is Hovin. He's 8 years old. He's a third grader, and he started piano lesson with me when he was in first grade. His hobbies are playing chess and doing origamis. And wait a second, and I'll introduce his piece. He's performing a piece called Sonatina in red. Actually, this is from a collection book called Sonatina in Colors by Kayden Olson. So Kayden Olson, he's a faculty at Utah State University, and he's very talented. He's been composing since he was like 12, and he won a lot of awards with his compositions. So he, on the book, it's very interesting. He said, have you guys ever thought of music in colors? Like when you hear music, do you actually see colors? So for example, in this Sonatina in colors, he had like 4 different movements. He had yellow, he had blue, he had green, and the last movement is in red. So for yellow, it's bright, it's funky, it's like very flashy. For blue, it's sad and it's in a minor key. And for green, it's more associated with like lives, greenery. So you feel like spring. And for red, can you guys guess what the red will feel like? Power, like agitated, very restless. So Hovin will be playing this piece called Sonatina in Red. Let's welcome Hovin. Okay, the second piece that I have for you on the program will be performed by Angela Wang. Angela is 11 years old. She's currently in the 5th grade center at Ladue, the school district. And she enjoys swimming and dancing at St. Louis Chinese School. And she also likes playing chess and Rubik cubes with friends. And the piece that she will be performing is called Sounds of the Rain, and it's composed by Christos Tsitsaros. Christos is actually my friend when I was back in college. I went to University of Illinois at Champaign. At that time, he was just a teaching assistant, but then later he actually got his DMA from U of I, and he was actually teaching there for probably 20, 30 years now. So Sounds of Rain is one of those pieces where you hear the music that generates certain emotions. Okay, it's about a kind of relief that we tend to experience, when we see the rains that falls, with very light rains, and then you hear in an evening, so you'll hear a little bit mystery, and wonder in Angela's playing, hopefully. And then, so let's enjoy Angela's performance. All right. And Angela actually had appendicitis last Monday, so she actually had a surgery Monday, and I can't believe she's already here performing a week later. That's really amazing. I hope she's getting better. But that's thank you for playing, Angela. The next piece I have for you is Haydn's Sonata in F major. So I don't know if you guys know anything about Haydn, but he was like a choir, but he's an Austrian composer. He was when he was younger, he was like a choir boy, and he was very talented. So his dad was like finding him places to study. And later he became the I think it's called Kapellmeister, where it's just like a chamber where it's like a music director actually. So he worked for the very like wealthy noble family aristocrat at the time, the Prince Esterhazy family. So this music as was written in 1773, actually when he was working for him. So he wrote like a set of 6 sonatas. And so the one that Alvin will be playing is one of the 6. It's from the Hoboken number 23, 16 number 23. And Alvin, he is 7th grader at Ladue Middle School. And he actually has received several honors from MMTA. And he got honorable mention in 2020, 21, and 2022. And Alvin's also a frequent winners at a lot of chess competitions. He's very, very good at chess. And he's going to be performing right now for us. I didn't have it. The next piece is going to be a piece by a Norwegian composer. Do you guys remember last week when I was here who was the other Norwegian composers that we... Grieg, yes. So people thought that Sinding, Christian Sinding, was going to be a successor of Grieg, but unfortunately he didn't make it that big. His music... he actually lived from 1856 to 1941. He lived for a very long time. And this piece that Kate will be performing is called Rustle of Spring. It's actually one of his most famous piano piece. I remember I heard it when I was in 5th grade. And I was just like, oh, I wanted to learn that. That's such a beautiful piece. So kind of like last week's, I remember Grieg, it was called To Spring. It was Alexis performed a piece by Grieg called To Spring. This one is called Rustle of Spring. So it's similar in the names, but it's very different in melody. So the performer will be Kate Brinton. She is 12 years old. She's a 7th grader at Ladue Middle School, and she enjoys swimming, playing piano and violin. And she also received the honorable mention from MMTA last year at the state. So let's welcome Kate. Okay, the next piece. Who knows the three B's of German composers? Beethoven, good. Bach. Brahms, yes, 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 yes. So the next the piece on the program is going to be a piece by Brahms, and it's Opus 118. It's one of his later works. He actually wrote 116 through 119. Those are the right before he passed away. And this work was dedicated to Clara Schumann. I don't know if you guys know anything about Schumann and Brahms family, but they're very closely related in the sense that Clara Schumann was like one of those prodigy, she was a very, very great pianist. So that's when Schumann met her, he immediately like kind of fell in love with her when she was like 15. He proposed to her when she was like 18. And then comes Brahms, who is a lot younger than them. So imagine that you meet, I don't know, someone at this who's famous, as Clara Schumann, maybe Taylor Swift. Okay, imagine, and he actually, he really, he just kind of admires her. He actually took care of Clara's kid when Schumann was in the mental hospital. Actually, Schumann had a little trouble mentally, and then he really helped out Clara. So he really, I think he had a lot of admiration and a lot of love for Schumann, for Clara Schumann. So this piece was dedicated to Clara Schumann. It's from Opus 118, the third movement, which is called Ballade, which means story. And Kayden will be performing this. Kayden Chiu. He's 13 years old. He's an 8th grader at Ladue Middle School, and his hobbies are playing video games, and he's a great tennis player. He actually does a lot of competitions in tennis, and he also did really well on MMTA. He had his first winner trophy when he was in 4th grade. So let's welcome Kayden. Okay, the next piece is going to be by Schumann, Robert Schumann. I think I said a little bit about Schumann earlier, but he actually started composing when he was like 6 or 7 or something like that. But his family actually wanted him to go into law. So he was actually in law school until he met Clara. So he decided that no, he wants to go in music. So he proposed to her when she was 18, but then unfortunately Clara's dad did not want her to marry him. So they actually had to take the dad to court. They actually sued him in order for them to get their marriage. So this piece actually is written in 1837. It's actually during the period where he was still trying to resolve the issue with the father so that he could marry his beloved wife, Clara. And the name of this piece is called Aufschwung, and German Aufschwung means soaring in English, which means like an upspring. And in this music, you can hear a lot of Schumann's music, his personality. He's actually a little bit bipolar, I think. So he had this inner, very kind of a outgoing, very passionate side of him he named it Florestan. That's the name that he gave to this person. Another personality he had is called the Eusebius, and this is the more quiet, introverted, dreamy kind of guy. So in this piece, you'll hear both of those of his personality coming out. So the performer will be Kayden. He is 14 and he's an 8th grader at Ladue Middle School. And Kayden actually he won MMTA. He was the winner for 6th grade, and he got honorable mention in 5th grade. And his hobbies are playing video games and basketball. So let's welcome Kayden. last person I have on the program is Frank. Frank is a 14-year-old ninth grade student at Ladue High School. He actually played piano for only 4 years. He started in when he was 10, I think, with Miss Schindler, because he was too scared watching his sister taking lessons. This is what I heard from Miss Schindler, and she was really mad that he didn't start, younger. But I think at 10 he decided that he's going to start piano lessons, and Miss Schindler passed away, so I inherited him. He will be performing Rachmaninoff. Rachmaninoff, as you all know, is very famous Russian composers. He has humongous hands. So when I saw Frank, he's very, very tall, has huge hand. I was like, wow, he should be playing Rachmaninoff. So I gave him a Rachmaninoff piece. So this piece is composed in 1901. It's from his sets of 10 preludes from Opus 23, and it's the fifth one in G minor. And Rachmaninoff actually had like 3 years where he was like under depression because his brain juice is kind of dead, and he just could not find anything well to write until he actually recovered in like the beginning of the 1900s, and then he composed his famous Piano Concerto No. 2. And so this piece is actually written at the same period as the Piano Concerto No. 2. Let's welcome Frank.
It's amazing we have such a group of young, talented young musicians, and who actually not only talented. You can imagine how many hours they spend behind the piano and the practice to make it have this kind of performance today for you. We thank you. Actually, normally we'll have a bag for each performer, but because we are out of stock, so I can only give you the rain check. Whenever it's ready, we'll give to Helen and distribute to you each performer. And thank you for coming to enjoy this lunchtime concert. Thank you. Enjoy the lunch.